Hello and welcome to a new SOLIDWORKS VBA macro. I'm Amen from Bluebyte Systems, and today we have our fidget spinner assembly, and we are going to save every component as, or export every component's document, two-step, IGES, and Parasolid. And we'll do that for each available configuration, or each configuration of these documents here, or these components. And in order to do that, we're going to create a configuration ripper, basically, which is probably a macro that some of you guys might have seen, floating around online. In order to do that, we're going to use a previous macro that we wrote, the print DXF, or print components as DXF. I'm going to repurpose that macro. So I'll put a link to the DXF macro obviously in the description of this video. If you're able to go to that link, just copy from line number 12 until line number 98, and then go back to your SOLIDWORKS, go to Tools, New, Macro, and then New. Save that file there, that SWP in a location of your preference, and then when the VBA editor pops up, just delete that code and then do Control-V so that you've got the DXF or print component as DXF macro. I'm going to make some changes to this one so that we can start ripping those configurations. We need to, well, before we get into the actual programming, if you just want to jump into using this macro, the finished one, just go to the description of this video if you're watching that on YouTube, or the post if you're watching it on LinkedIn, and then you'll see a link to our gist, to our Bluebyte gist that will have the entire source code of this macro. So you can just start using that, or you can stick along, because we're gonna write this thing together, not from scratch, but we're just gonna repurpose this macro here to do that. All right, let's go back to the top of this macro here. One change I wish I'd done in a previous video, which is not to declare the processed files here as new. Preferably, it would just be a declaration that does not create an instance of the process collection. And then it's preferable that we always initiate the collection every single time we create or we run the macro, so that it clears it up every single time we run the main subroutine. It clears up the processed collection so that it doesn't remain in memory, and will give us, it will clear up the old documents that were processed. Hope that does make sense. If it doesn't make sense, always leave a comment, and I'll make sure to respond there. Obviously, we're getting the pointer to the SOLIDWORKS application. We're getting the assembly here. You can add a little check to make sure that the active document does exist, or exists. And then you can also make an additional check to see if the active document is actually an assembly. After that, we're just getting the array of components. And for each component, we're gonna get the model doc, which is basically the document object. And we're checking if that document object actually does exist in the collection of files that were processed. And if not, we're going to process that file. So this is the method that we're going to change. Let's rename this method to save configurations, and then go and save configurations here as well. So that's the function. Let's see here. Yep. Okay. Going back to the save configuration function, do we care if the document is a part or an assembly? I don't think we do, so we'll just delete all of this. What we will do, however, is we will go in here and specify or rather we will make the document visible. So SW model visible equals true, and then later here visible equal false. All right, so the first thing we want to do here is maybe to start by getting an array of all the configuration from this model doc. So let's just define a configuration named variant as variant, and then we will set that to be equal to SW model doc, and the method that you're looking for here is get configuration names. And then we will traverse that configurations array using a for each loop. So we'll do for each configuration name in configuration names, oops, and then next configuration. So the first thing we want to do is to activate or show that configuration. So SW model dot show configuration, and that configuration here will be configuration name. So now that we have a configuration shown, we can start saving that. We can save that configuration to the extensions that we want, or export them to those extensions. We need to define initially an array of those extensions. So let's define that maybe somewhere here. Let's define a dim extensions, an array of 1, 2, 3, and that will be an array of strings. Extensions here will be equal to 1. We'll just add step.step, and then we'll do the second one, and then the third one. Let's do IGES here as a second, and then I hope I'm writing these extensions correctly. And then the third one here will be the parasolid 3, and then the second one should be 2. And that way we have our extensions. Now in here also, let's do for each extension in extensions, next extension. So this is where we're actually going to save the file. So next extensions, or next extension, and let's just define the output path. So let's define dim output as string. Let's set the output path. Let's hard code that to a specific location on our computer. I'm going to export things to this c/bom export. And then this is only the folder. We need to we need to reformat that or add more information to that so that we can actually get a proper full file name. We do that by, I guess, let's start by getting the file name initially. So we'll do output will be equal to itself, which is the BOM export, plus we'll start with the file name. So that will be swmodel.getTitle, get title, right? But this one will contain the extension of the file or of the component, be it an SLDPRT or an SLDASM, right? So in here we'll just do it left and then swmodel.getTitle, and then we'll just skip those 6 letters, and then plus we'll do underscore, and then we'll get the configuration name, and then plus we will add here the extension. Oops, I think I am missing a plus sign. So this will be the complete file path. Now the function getTitle, you have to be extremely careful with this one. There's a Windows setting. If you go to your file explorer, I think you go to view and then file options, there's a setting that hides the extension. If you check that, then getTitle will return the name of the model without the extension. So for this to work, that setting I think need to be turned off, so that getTitle will always return the extension of the file as part of the file name, or as part of the title, they call it. And getTitle, I think, will return an empty string if the document has not been saved, or no, it'll always return a name. getPath will return an empty string if the document has not been saved. We'll test this out here in a minute. So that now that we have the the path, right, we can just define a new variable called saveRet as Boolean, and then we'll just do save rets. And the method that we're going to use is swmodel.save extensions, which is the model.extension extension property here. The model.extension interface, which is in the form of a property called extension here. We'll call the method save as 3. The name will be output, and then swconst sw save as current version option swconst dot sw save as options save as options, and I just want to do it silently, so silent. Export data, I don't care about that, so that'll be a nothing. And then advanced selection, save as option, nothing. Errors, we'll just specify an error here, and then warnings, and then warnings as well. And then I'll just dim the errors as long, and then dim warnings as long. And obviously you can do a debug print statement here. Just print the value of the save as well as the errors, just in case you need to debug this later. And that's pretty much it, really. Let's go ahead and run this. So let me see that location, cdm export. Right, it's an empty location. And then click on run. And it seems that I've been missing the S here, so let's click on that. And it looks like it didn't save, so let's go back and inspect our code. So put a breakpoint here, and then click on start. And then let's inspect the folder. I see that we're missing a slash here, so we'll add that right here, or we can add it to the folder, to the output folder itself, to the output path, sorry. And then let's just run it one more time. Yeah, it's looking for that assembly, right? So make sure that I have an assembly as the active document, and then let's just run it one more time. And then check that folder location, and it's like it's doing its thing here, right? Awesome. And we have created or ripped the configuration of each of the components and appended the configuration name here. Obviously we only have one configuration per part, but you get the idea here. So yeah, this is how this is a little configuration ripper using VBA. If you like this video, make sure to share it with your colleagues. Follow me on LinkedIn. Subscribe to our newsletter on our website. That's bluebyte.biz/newsletter. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like us and share it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.